We have the difference between qué and cuál, okay? Now, directly, qué means what, as we saw, and cuál means which. However, a lot of times you'll find that cuál will be translated as what. And so, really, what is the difference here? The main difference here is that qué asks what something is, whereas cuál asks which one it is out of option. Your reflex in English is to always use what, right? But in Spanish, there's a bit of thinking here where if you said something like, okay, what is this, right? In Spanish, there, that what is describing what something is, right? And so there you just say qué es esto, right? But if you were to ask a question like, what is your favorite color? Well, think about what you're really asking. What you're really asking is, out of all the colors that exist, which is your favorite? So in Spanish, you wouldn't say, ¿qué es tu color favorito? You'd rather say, ¿cuál es tu color favorito? And so there you'd use which, cuál in Spanish, rather than qué. The one little thing here that can confuse you is that if the word that comes after is a noun or a verb, it will change. So if the word after is a noun, meaning it's a thing, right? It's not a verb. So if you were to say, for example, what color is your favorite instead of what's your favorite color, then it always has to be qué. So then you say, ¿qué color es tu favorito? Okay? As because color is a noun, right? It's a thing. So that's the one little rule there. Other than that, that's the logic behind qué and cuál. Okay? Ask yourself, is the question asking me to choose out of a set of options, like when you ask someone for their favorite color or their favorite language or whatever? Or for example, if you ask them for their name, in Spanish, you would say, ¿cuál es tu nombre? You would say, which is your name, right? Because you're choosing out of the set lists of names. But if you said, what name is your favorite? Even though the logic tells us that we should use which, in Spanish, it has to be qué because name, nombre, is a noun, right? It's a thing. It's not a verb. And so you'd actually say, ¿qué nombre es tu nombre? And so then you'd say, ¿qué nombre? Not cuál. So yeah, that's the logic for qué versus cuál. All right. Now, and by the way, if you're just getting started, I highly recommend joining the Speedy Spanish Hub. It's a free community I created with a bunch of free resources and guides to help you start learning Spanish with these methods. And it'll be the first link in the description.